Hello Physical Fiends, it's Jordan here with the big physicals coming in November. Yeah, November is pretty much upon us, so let's take a look at the top 10 physical game releases. I have to admit, the amount of new releases is a bit slim, so it's been tough picking my top 10, but here we go, in no particular order, aside from the order that I saw them in. Mario and Luigi Brothership is probably the big one for many people out there, especially Nintendo Switch owners. Of course, it's an exclusive to the system and is the latest game in the long-running Mario and Luigi RPG adventure subseries. I actually thought this was on ice considering the series developer went bankrupt, but this is developed by a new team from the experienced hands at Acquire, a developer I quite like, but they are mostly known for their old-school jank and having the depth of a puddle. I'm surprised Nintendo would let them loose on their franchise, but who knows? I think previews have been mildly optimistic about it, but considering we're into the latter years of the Switch's life, I do wonder if this can follow the trend of all Nintendo series selling best ever on the Switch. If you want to contribute to that, and if you want to pre-order any games in this video, then please consider using the links below in the description and the pinned comment. That massively helps me out and supports this channel, and I greatly appreciate the support. If you order from VGP, you can get free worldwide shipping with orders over 80 Canadian bucks, which is only 60 American dollars. In fact, it's less than that with the exchange rate now. I think it's pretty good value for money. What else have we got? Well, Slitterhead is a pretty important release. It's a game directed by Keiichiro Toyama, who some of you will know was the creator of Silent Hill and the Siren series. He also made Gravity Rush, so the dude's got pedigree. He's got a good CV. And this game is supposed to be somewhat of a mashup of those two genres. Expect loads of disturbing monsters and a weird, trippy story. It's releasing physically on PlayStation 5 in North America on November 8th and comes in a Day 1 edition, which has a soundtrack, 100-page art book, and sticker sheet in a nice special box. Doesn't appear to be releasing physically in Europe, as far as I can tell, but don't worry, VGP will ship it over there if you order via the links below. Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake is releasing in mid-November, and it's an eagerly anticipated remake, years since it was actually announced. It looks absolutely fabulous, and it's a game that's considered to be the first, great Dragon Quest game, and the start of the timeline in the first 3 games in the series. That's why they've remade this one first. Now, of course, there is the censorship aspect, which I hoped, since the backlash would have been resolved by now. It's clear the developers know that people are unhappy. They could have just held their hands up and said, oh, okay, yeah, you're right, and, fixed it. But maybe I was too hopeful. They haven't changed it as far as I know. Am I mega unhappy? Not personally, but I still don't like it either. It's one of them things. But if you are strongly against that, you can tell me in the comments below. It's releasing physically on Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X. Yeah! There is a standard edition as well as a massively overpriced collector's edition, which the Western one you can only get on Square Enix's web store. Harry Potter Quidditch Champions is getting a physical release on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox in North America. Europe is also getting a PlayStation 4 version. Now, sadly, the Switch version is a code-in-a-box bullshit release, which is garbage. However, I am curious about the Japanese version since there is no download badge on the artwork, and I don't see any mention of code, so maybe, yeah, I think Japan has an actual cartridge, but still, be warned, the game is always online. You must have an online connection for the damn thing to work, so it's still kind of disappointing. But from what I've heard, the game is pretty good, and you can see why this was omitted from Hogwarts Legacy, because it can stand on its own as a proper full release. LEGO Horizons Adventures is releasing physically on Switch and PlayStation 5 November 14th. With previews coming in, some have been saying that it has the potential to be the best LEGO game ever. I personally have no investment in the Horizon franchise, so it's hard for me to get overly excited by it, but I'm sure it's going to sell really well. And it's interesting to see a Nintendo Switch case that has Sony Interactive's logo at the bottom corner. It feels wrong. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster is getting a physical release on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and this is something I'm quite interested in. I always enjoyed the original Dead Rising when I went round to my mate's house, and her brother had a 360 with this and the latest FIFA. It seemed like, the same kind of thing that appealed to me with Dynasty Warriors. You know, it showed off the new generation with more characters on screen and stuff like that. Simple, yeah. Flawed, yes. But, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what they've done with this version. MySims Cozy Bundle is a totally random double pack re-release, only releasing physically on Nintendo Switch, and it contains MySims and MySims Kingdom, which, you know, they kind of look like shovelware garbage, but I know certain people who grew up with these on the Wii and will swear by them. Seems like it lives up to its, you know, cozy name with its gameplay loop and plenty of customization. If you're looking for something Animal Crossing that's not Animal Crossing, maybe it's worth giving a shot. Don't judge it so harshly by its cover. Toaplan Arcade Collection 3. Yes, I am including an Evercade release in this month's top 10 releases. Now, maybe you think that's a sign of how desperate for choice we are this month, but don't be daft, because this is Truxton 2 on it and Batsugun, which, you know, is worth the cheap price alone. Never mind, it also includes Fix 8, Ghosts, Outzone, and Vimana. I pronounced all of those wrong, but it's awesome, and Evercade are doing great stuff recently, so yeah, this is looking very nice. Alright, with the next couple of choices, I'm delving into Asia and Japan because they've got a couple of imports I'm really interested in. In fact, these are the two games I may be looking forward to the most. And if you want to pre-order these two, consider using the Play Asia links down below. That can also support me greatly. Plus, I can support you too with the code Jordan24. That will nab you 5% off, but just remember to click the link first, okay? River City Saga 3 Kingdoms Next is releasing physically only in Japan and Asia on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 November 4th. This continues the Three Kingdoms story from the original game, which was one of my favorite beat-em-up adventure games on the system, purely for the fact that it mixes Three Kingdoms characters with the Kunio-kun franchise. What a combination, impossible to go wrong with. It has exploration, action, it's just all round a fun game. The main issue with the first game is that it just ended halfway through the story, so now we get to finish it. These releases do have English and should be worthwhile importing, especially the Japanese version, which is actually quite cheap. AMEDAMA is getting a physical release in Japan on November 21st. I think this might be the game I am most excited about. This is like my number one. It's got a great visual style, like, you know, PS1-ish. I really adore that aspect. It's in old-ass Japan, so that's a check right there. Plus, it's got a soul-shifting mechanic where you control other people to do your dirty deeds. I genuinely cannot wait to try this myself. It's got positive reviews over on Steam, and the Switch physical in Japan will have English, and I think it is affordably priced. This is definitely my most hyped release that we know of for November. And that is my top 10. What do you think? Did I miss anything super obvious? Or do you have a case to plead for, you know, another physical out there? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to pick up any game, please use the links in the description to do so. That massively helps support me, and I greatly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care.